Ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
Na na na. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's never missing impossible. The mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these days is #1 adorer. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Katora. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. Wise man, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fire Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce us. Risking out a Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, craft, barkeep, takes the shots. No deny. Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless shoot supply. Gone big coat fought the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of campaign for Mitchell. Now I'm the standing up for the truth. You know your boy's a little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us, raining truth on the Bears worldwide. Barflies astound us. This is the #1 pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Bears Barroom, yeah, you know you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Bears Barroom, you know you gotta feel it. Yeah, you gotta feel it. Do you feel it? You gotta fire, John Fox. Yeah. MC fulfilling. Another fulfilling 45 track. Bringing the hits for the Bears Barflies. Bears 100 proof worldwide. Shout out to him, the super producer, the Godfather, stand up, unite. Aldo Gandia. Shout out to the Vice President. It's the Bears Barroom. And of course, it's only one. The smartest man in the barroom. Come on now. The mailman, Shane. Money Man Marceau. Deliver the mail. MC fulfill for the Bears. Of course, your boy, Giraffe Dr. Phil.
This program contains adult content. Parental discretion is advised.
Guess who's cruising her coochie truck up to the main stage?
She's getting her pole on. We've got Amber on the main stage.
Dominique on the bar.
And you know, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10.
Is it coochie?
In my opinion, I feel like pussy is the most powerful thing. Most men do the things they do so they could get pussy.
Wentz steps up, fire, touchdown! Zach Ertz.
How much do you make a night?
800 to 900. My best was 1,500.
I've made 2,500 to 5,000 a night.
Whoa.
Wentz looking that way. Instead, they'll come up to the near side. Aguilar makes the catch. Racing end zone, diving! Touchdown!
What do you think is your best asset at this job?
My ass. That's everybody's
Also,
best asset.
Does clapping your ass work more than talking, or are they about the same?
I think like your energy is everything. So here like guys notice you because your presence on stage or you have a fat ass.
Second down, Wentz, pump fake over the middle. Floats it, touchdown, it's Jeffrey.
If you listen, they'll tell you what they want.
so it comes a lot easier. Some guys pay me just to talk to them. I've gotten $60 just for giving
Literally
advice.
talking to them.
They're like, thanks for listening to me. Here's some money.
Wow.
Leave it at that.
This is Bears 100 Proof, and you just heard the strippers of a gentleman's club in Philadelphia talk about the power of the toolbox. Don't know if any of them performed for the handful of Chicago Bears who were allegedly partying into the morning before they went out and got fucked by Carson Wentz, but if they did, I hope they made a lot of money. And I hope they gave old John Fox a lap dance. The poor guy looks like he needs something to get his team going. Welcome all, I am your host, Aldo Gandia, but don't you worry, the stars of this nightclub act are here. They are Draft Dr. Philotoshin, the producer, writer, performer of our opening theme song, and Shane, the smartest man in the barroom. Kris Armstrong will be joining us later in the show, and Lady Love from Louisiana will not be able to join us as she is under the weather. But that's okay, we'll get her into the bar soon. Hope you're feeling better very quickly. Fellas, let's talk some football. What's going on, Mr. Shane Marsaw? You are going to get the first word this week because it's only been 2 weeks in a row, and we got to get it up to 4 or 5. What's going on with the Bears, man? Trey McBride, sushi burning, garbage cans. Is this whole thing like Hal saw just before the $4 million rebuild? Is the whole place falling apart?
Geez, this isn't Bears Hour Live, so I can say that this is a complete clusterfuck because we're on Bears 100 Proof at this point.
Right.
This is the end of days for the John Fox regime, and it just seems to get, every day it just seems to get a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And we saw a bunch of these crazy stories, like you just pointed out, come out, and it's like I said, it's comical, and unfortunately, it's the team that we root for. And it seems like back when Trestman was here, that was our rock bottom, and I don't think we're quite at those depths. I know that there's a lot of Bears fans out there that think otherwise, but my saving grace in all this, like I told Phil in a private conversation, is at the end of the day, we have our shining beacon in all of this is number 10, Mitch Trubisky, to build off of and move forward. And I know Mitch had a tough game versus Philadelphia, but it's to be expected with such a limited crop around him. And, I think better days are ahead. And this franchise is really going to go as Ryan Pace and Mitch Trubisky go moving forward, because it's pretty obvious that John Fox isn't going anywhere until Black Monday and New Year's, the day after New Year's, when these coaches start to all lose their jobs, when change is in the air, and Chicago is going to be front and center. But it's going to be an interesting offseason, guys. That's why we want you to stay tuned here with us, and we'll take you all through it. And us as Chicago Bears fans have dealt with so much inept bullshit and lack of good quality media coverage and lack of just good quality football in general to watch every week. As much time and money that we invest into this team, we're not getting a return on our investment. You want to talk about Ryan Pace's missed free agents? It's the same thing as a fan. We're investing just as much into this team, and we're not getting anything back. that's going to satisfy us going forward. So these are tough days, guys, watching this team. But I really think the better days are ahead, and we're going to get all you Bears fans through it here at the Barroom.
Hey, Shane, one question I need to get an answer from you before I turn it over to Phil. Have you ever paid a stripper just to listen to you talk?
I've paid a few. I don't think I ever paid her to listen to me talk.
Phil, you care to comment with your wife in the room there?
Comment about what, per se?
If you've ever gone to a strip club and given a woman $60 to hear you talk.
Oh, Jesus. She's going to need a lot more than... That's going to take up her whole night, Aldo. He's not going to shut the fuck up. It's going to cost more than $6.
She's just going to be
There's
like, dude.
Conspiracy here.
$200.
There's a conspiracy here. Because Shane likes to talk himself. I've been listening and timing the show.
Yeah. We're at 11 minutes.
For statistical purposes. I got a few mathematicians and a couple blogs listening into the show.
We're at about approaching 12 minutes, so the next 12 minutes are yours. I'm sorry I have to cut your time.
See, I got to take advantage of my time when I get it.
Shane talks a lot. It's an under the radar stat.
That's right. I repeat myself. I talk. I got to take advantage of it. All those years, Phil. I've been here with you guys now a couple of years now. I got to get my time in.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Phil, talk to me.
I've never paid anyone to hear me talk. So
people pay to hear you talk, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. He hates hearing himself talk. The guy that's got 22 Christmas songs that he just wrote.
Listen, I didn't write all of them. I'm going to perform all of them and produce all of them. But you and Aldo have stepped up to help.
And I'm going to interview you so we can get the story behind the songs. What inspired you? How'd you come up with them? And then we're going to do like a documentary, the true Hollywood story.
It's going to be Christmas spectacular.
Yeah. You know what would make it even more spectacular is if you have like an auto accident.
What was that?
True Hollywood story, Phil Toshin, before the car wreck that ruined his singing voice. We did this interview with him.
The Real Housewives of Connecticut, starring Phil Toshin.
All right, Phil, talk to me about this football team. Have you ever seen a team in such disarray? I mean, it's not only the product out on the field, but it's all of these stories that we're hearing, players going to strip clubs, sushi being left out, and all of Hallis Hall stinking like a mess, a trash can fire. John Fox saying he doesn't give a rip about his team. I mean, this is about as low as this franchise has been since the Trestman era, since the last head coach that we had. It's pathetic.
It's the last guy.
Yeah, right.
You know what? I gotta say.
Didn't I just say that in my 11-minute rant?
Oh, is that what you said?
I don't agree with Shane. I really think this is the lowest it's ever been, and I'll tell you why. I understand what Shane's saying in regards to the glistening, gleaming pillar of Trubisky, but this football team has a ton of talent. You've seen them compete early in the season defensively, just being very, in physical mode, giving chase and tackling, gang tackling at the football. Now, I know there's been some injuries. We can't overlook what a Danny Trevathan would do for this football team. As Shane said on Bears Hour Live, Jarrell Freeman, where he was, and obviously Leonard Floyd, the lack of a pass rush on Sunday was, a cause and effect of what transpired. But ultimately, guys like Jackson, completely not showing up, not giving the effort that really was needed on a given Sunday. And sorry, the wife is saying goodnight. I love you. So you don't see the kind of effort.
Hey! Another kiss. I got my my adult music ready. All right, here it is. Give her another kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right, enough of that.
The Atoshin sex tape is coming out next week.
That's right.
It's 2 minutes long. It's 2 minutes long.
In a can of salt, 6 feet tall. So
okay.
But you look at this football team. It's a football team that does it almost. I don't know, the Twilight Zone. Cue up that drop right here because
I hear you.
I'm telling you right now, boys. We predict stuff almost to the extent of throwing like comedic, joke to make this kind of decision, and then they go and do exactly what we said they could never possibly do. They can never possibly go into Green Bay so unprepared after 2 weeks to prepare. They could never go into Green Bay and not spread the field and run Jordan Howard out of the shot. They do everything the opposite. They could never, get away from Shaheen after he's taken a step forward. They do. They could never cut Trey McBride and after he's taken steps where a guy like Marcus Wheaton has caught one pass. One pass. What has he given you? Anything. I've not seen one thing from Marcus Wheaton. So the personnel decisions, on top of the stink and the fiery burning shit hole that is Hallis Hall right now, with the coach lying and the offensive coordinator not being able to call plays or have preparedness, the offensive line in shambles, false start penalties, holding penalties, not knowing snap counts, not knowing assignments, breakdowns everywhere on offense, defensive breakdowns, your rookie safety probably out at the strip club, totally not ready and prepared to play in that football game. I struggle with the Bear up this week. I can pick about 12 guys for Bears down. It was an utter disgrace on every level. I didn't even talk about the missed opportunities on challenges. The kicker that just came off an injury that you just signed having to kick a 53 fucking yard field goal. What kind of decisions are these on the field, off the field? Ryan Pace not firing the guy. The McCaskies don't do that. They don't win either. It's 85. That's all you live by. Do something different, you fucking pieces of shit. You're POSs. Do something that sends a message. It's the most ridiculous thing. It's worse than Trestman and Cromer in my mind. It's worse. It's the Twilight Zone. Let's give Benny Cunningham more carries than Jordan Howard. Let's continue to play the worst professional football player in the NFL, Mike Burton, at fullback. Let me put up a play for you all to see and embarrass this fucking team with this shithole offensive coordinator continuing to play this fullback. He's awful. It's unbelievable on every. I don't know how it could possibly be worse.
Sorry, guys. That was a rant worthy of submitting to the Grammys, which, by the way, I don't know if you heard today, Phil, the Grammy nominations were announced, and you, unfortunately, did not get the nomination that we were all hoping and praying for Fire John Fox. But We're gonna have some more songs for future nomination entries, including the 22 that you're making for the Christmas album, and we should play one of those Christmas songs right now, or should we save it for later?
Drop it like it's hot.
I love that. Okay.
It's that time of year again, the holiday season, where the Bears find themselves in a familiar place, at the bottom, looking up. Oh, football town of Chicago, where the Bears, they play their games. They used to be called the Midway Monsters, now they call them a joke again. Oh, Chicago Bears, 3 years has been too long. This coaching staff is always lost, decisions always wrong. Oh, football town of Chicago, your coach and field are a mess. Lay down the brand new field turf, slip counts prevent success. Oh, Chicago Bears, it's clear you need a new coach. Harbaugh, McDaniels, David Shaw, Frank Wright, or David Toll. Oh, football town of Chicago, you finally got your young quarterback. Don't make the dreaded football mistake of bringing Coach John Fox back. Oh, Chicago Bears, hire a football man up top. Stop living off of 1985. The losing ways might stop. Oh, football town of Chicago, a football city you proclaim. There is an arrogant football coach who's won only 3 division games. Oh, Chicago Bears, the playoffs you have won. There is one answer to this mess. Ryan Pace, bring Harbaugh home. Oh, Ryan Pace, Ryan Pace, Ryan Pace, bring Harbaugh home.
Man, Phil, how do you come up with this stuff?
You know, it's an inspiration. It's a God-given talent. And I want to thank everyone who voted for me.
You sound like Freddie Mitchell. I just want to thank God for these hands.
So, hey,
I
Phil,
believe I'm a better lyricist than Freddie Mitchell was a wide receiver.
Phil, do you want to tease some of the other songs by giving us the titles?
What do you guys think? I mean, people are really excited about the 22 songs, the LP, the Bears Barroom Original, the only podcast in the world that is creating their own songs, not only from scratch, but also a parody Christmas album. I mean, Bears fans, Shane, Bears Girl, who unfortunately couldn't make it either tonight, and The Godfather are putting in extra time to give you a smile when things have been so bad, and I'm glad I am part of the therapy. I can't express, Aldo, how many barflies have reached out in DMs today just to say how much they appreciated the song and our shows, and everything we do is really helping them. And obviously I'll shout them out later, but I don't know, Shane, what do you think? Should I give a couple song titles away?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I think if you do anything, maybe announce the name of the first one that's going to be released. Are we doing this in December? Is that how we're rolling here?
December 1st, right? How are we doing it, Coach?
Yeah, drop the name, and maybe they can kind of play off of it and have some fun with it and try to figure out where we're going with it. If you drop the name and move on from there, give them a little
that's
taste.
A good call.
Play a little game. My favorite game when I was a teenager, called Just the Tip. It always worked for me.
I can't wait anymore. I need to just feel you.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Just the tips?
I used to love that game too.
Yeah.
It never lasted.
Yeah. Aldo knows the feeling. You gotta get that heart count up.
Blue pill. So yeah, Shane, I guess we'll just give him the tip for the first song title to come out. Was actually inspired, and we will get into this behind the scenes, the music with Draft Doc and Aldo Gandia later, but the first title came up by my boy, the smartest man in the barroom. He came up with this title, and I just went to town on the song. It's gonna be fun, straight out the gate with number 8, Mike Glennon in Mikey the Red-Faced Giraffe. So look for that to come out first, and we are going to come out swinging hard.
Let's get a question out of the way. Shane, our man Zeke is asking you, would you like to see Dowell Loggins as interim head coach if Fox get fired and Fangio doesn't want the job?
Nope. What's up next?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm pretty sold on the fact, like I said, I think they're going to ride out these last handful of games with Fox and make their move on Black Monday. Phil alluded to some of this last night, and you see Greg Gabriel had an article today alluding to the same fact that the Bears have their list of what direction that they would prefer to move in. And I don't think this, in the beginning of about mid-season or, a little bit before, we had some questions if maybe Dowell was being restricted because of the head coach. And I bought into a little bit of that there for a while, but as the season wore on, it's painfully obvious, like with everything in Dowell's life, it just seems to be over his head as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. And I don't think that he has the ability to be a head man. And even in terms of Fangio, to me, it really seems like he does not want to be here. If it wasn't for Ryan Pace blocking the move of him going to San Francisco last year, he wouldn't have been here this year. So I think it is, in John Fox's famous words, it is what it is at this point, and we're not going to see what we all want to see until Black Monday.
I've tried to give Dowell the benefit of the doubt because I know that Fox's influence over him with the game plan has made Dowell much more conservative than he would like to be. And we've heard, Trubisky talk about that Dowell has confidence in him. But At the same time, it's pretty obvious that the guy still schematically just doesn't have a clue on how to set up plays, how to take advantage of defenses and stuff. He comes up once in a while with some impressive stuff, but on the whole, he's definitely a huge failure. And when Jay Cutler says Dow Loggins is going to be a head coach in this league, then you know that Jay may be suffering from some concussion issues.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I want to bring up real quick before we move off of Loggins is leading up to this Philly game, the Chicago media asked him specifically about the usage of Shaheen if Sims were back and was going to suit up. And they said, if Sims is healthy enough to play, is that going to cut into the reps of Adam Shaheen? And he came right out and said, no, that's not something that we want to get into. Talked about Shaheen stepping up his play versus Detroit, and they didn't want to, take any reps away from him. But then in true Chicago Bears fashion, like Phil said, what do we see? We see Adam Shaheen, I think it was the first play of the game. He gets that little pass to him out in the flat, and then where is he involved in the offense for the rest of the game? He's not. So they come out and say one thing publicly, and unfortunately, I think that is a part of the Bears' game plan for some weird reason. They'll come out and say something publicly, and they think that that's going to fool the NFL. Well, we're going to come out and say this, and we're going to do something completely different. And if that's a part of your game plan, you got all sorts of issues. So it's pretty pathetic on any level. And to get back to Dowell, no, I don't want him promoted in any fashion because he doesn't deserve it, plain and simple.
I also wanted to chime in too, kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Aldo. Theoretically, as an offensive, that's my specialty is the offense. If I was to coach, that would be my side of the football. And when I look at him, there's just, and we've talked about this throughout our history at the Bears Barroom. I've expressed that there is no feel to this man's ability to recognize how to use personnel, how to use formation, and how to counter off the formation to really be an impressive self-scouter, to know everybody has a tell. In gambling, they talk about it all the time, as well as receivers at the route. The best ones recognize their tells and counter off of that. And really, the best offensive coordinators are the ones that recognize they have to have several plays off of a certain formation to give yourself an advantage to trickery, because that's ultimately what this game is about: blocking, tackling, catching, and misdirection. And the teams that physically can oppose their will on another team and counter with misdirection win a lot of football games. So thus you see the big play action plays and big chunks of yardage plays. None of that's happening and transpiring. As the season has gone on, your football team should technically, from a technical standpoint, be improved. This Sunday, we saw a football team look like they were playing their first scrimmage of the preseason. The quarterback looks tense and stressed. He doesn't look relaxed and confident that we saw this football player be. Progressively, based on the offensive coordinator not helping this football player, is affecting him. How you would ever put that as your head coach, how that is the prerequisite, that's the resume that you're going to send around the league, what you've done in Chicago. To me, Dowell Loggins, at best, is a quarterback coach going forward to people around the NFL that I've talked to and what I see. So really, ultimately, the things that we thought we were getting with John Fox, the rugged, tough guy, be on time, hold players accountable, clean up the locker room, find young coordinators that have the potential to be head coaches, bring them in here, run a strict team, be technically sound, be great defense. You've gotten a Swiss cheese of that. There's holes everywhere. And Dowell, to me, is the second biggest hole on this roster and this team. And I can't express it enough, because not only does he have no balls to stand up for what he knows that things that Mitchell should be doing aren't being done, he's got no balls to step up and recognize that you're the offensive coordinator and you need to tell the head coach certain things that are going to help this football team be successful. You have to put your life on the line, so to speak, slam the table for these things to give your football team and your offense the best chance to win.
I got a feeling we're moving on to the next section of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know him. He's as smart as Michael Jackson was a Thriller. When he finds dumb tweets, he usually finds Matt Miller. It's the dumbest tweets of the week.
Well done, Doctor.
I thought of that in the shower.
Oh, God.
I said, let me prepare one.
Fucked it up for all of us.
Yeah. Keep me out of your thoughts in the shower there, man.
Oh, man. He's thinking. Oh, Lordy.
Yes, our dumbest tweets of the week. I had a whole bunch of issues trying to find a good tweet this week, because there's been a whole lot of bullshit out there tweeted out by everybody. There was a lot of contenders this week for worst tweet of the week.
Say you're a contender.
Yeah, it's almost like our football team is a 3-win team and not showing any progress this late in the season. I don't know. Maybe it's spreading that way, but we're going to kick off number one worst tweet of the week with @JReed Draft Scout.
Oh no!
I follow JR, and he's a good dude and knows his football. But during the Bears-Eagles game, or debacle, I guess we can refer to it as, this past Sunday, he sent out a tweet that said, "Trubisky is a long, long, long ways away. The game looks just way too fast for him right now."
What you say?
Oh, Lordy.
And, to me, that just, I brought it up to you guys. Stuff like that irritates the hell out of me, because what that screams to me that you tune in for 2 or 3 minutes, and yes, Mitch did have his struggles. And yes, he is an inexperienced quarterback. We all knew that. Yes, he does not have any talent around him that is helping him out, and Mitch has to own his drawbacks also. He didn't play a good game. But to say that the kid is a long, long way away is bullshit, to put it quite frankly. It's,
Can you put it frankly?
Yeah, there you go. It's we all know what he needs to work on, and like I said, everybody made a big deal of the 13 starts in college, but to sit here and say, to make it sound like Mitch Trubisky is an issue. We heard Peter King kind of allude to the same thing on Waddle and Sylvie tonight, saying Mitch Trubisky has been shaky in Chicago. And to me, overall, it just comes down to a lazy Chicago Bears quarterback narrative that there seems to be spread throughout, NFL fans.
I warned you.
That aren't fans of the Chicago Bears and national media. So, J. Reed Draft Scout, you get one of the dumbest tweets of the week from us at the Barroom.
And don't come back.
No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. What you say?
This guy's a sound effects drop machine, music producer, football analyst.
My goal is to do a a beatbox song for the Bears Barroom at some point.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Just
more songs. There you go.
Yeah, more songs. I'm the song man. Draft Doc, the song. I don't have a rhyme for that, but
sounds like my segment.
Nice, well played.
Oh my goodness.
I've just made up a rhyme right now for the next dumb tweet.
Wade.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you think of the smartest man, he'll howl like a beagle. And then he'll get pissed off because his family is full of fans of the Eagles. And boy, did they whip off on Chicken Pox Fox. This is the dumbest tweet of the week.
Wow, it's almost like you just made it up off the top of your head. Fantastic job there, Phil.
I want to thank my producer, Aldo Gandia.
Oh la la.
Love you. Barkeep 100 proof. Keep it real. All praises to God and Allah.
Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, we'll jump into this here. To me, this was easily the dumbest tweet of the week, and unfortunately, it came from @Chicago Bears, the official
Surprise, motherfucker.
Twitter feed of our favorite football team, when the Bears were getting blown out and Philly went up 17-0. The Chicago Bears official Twitter feed sent out a tweet to their rabid, faithful, devoted, money-spending fans that have been following them forever.
You're a fucking idiot.
Sent out a tweet to them that said, well, hopefully you're enjoying some Thanksgiving leftovers. 17-0. And maybe at its surface, it doesn't sound that bad, but this has been a continuing story with the Chicago Bears organization just overlooking little things like their social media department. That's a farce. You have things like Lunch with Larry that's seems like it's straight out of 1974, and whoever runs the Chicago Bears Twitter feed, it just, Bears fans as a whole are pissed off. We're tired of what's going on, and when you see a football team, players included, lay down and act like they don't give a shit, and like you guys alluded to, the possibly Jordan Howard and some guys being out until the early morning hours at a strip club before the Eagles game. And even the Chicago Bears social media department really making a mockery of their fans and setting out little bullshit barbs like that, and making a joke when your team is on, TV for millions to see and playing the hottest team in the NFL, and you're playing like shit. They say that every inch matters in the NFL and every little thing matters. Well, the Bears forgot to throw the sushi out, and they're sending out shitty-ass tweets mocking their fans. So I'd like to say a big fuck you to the Chicago Bears social media department, and you are easily the winner of the dumbest tweet of the week.
Fuck off.
And there was a lot of competition for that spot, so it was an easy choice. I think that's the most important thing Shane said. I'm embarrassed by that. I just want to say something real quick, which is never quick. But I got a bone to pick. We're asking fans to stand up for the truth. That's what we do on this show as the title song and everything we talk about in here. You need to be a man or woman to listen to this show and have some pride. I always talk about looking in the mirror, and I think up top, they need to start looking in the mirror and asking themselves, what kind of messages are you sending to a fan base, as Shane said, that's devoted to this football team like a religion, like a goddamn cult, an army of soldiers out there supporting this football team, to think that it's okay to go out there partying when you're a 3-win football team and have a coach who doesn't give a rip, and to have a media department talk down to a fan base like you're some sort of fucking clown circus. It's disgusting on every level. And I think it's appropriate here to talk about it on this fucking show, because the effort on everybody's part is being overlooked. The fan, the guy that got his wallet stolen today and fucking lost his $300 to feed his family, but bought the Sunday ticket to see his Bears. What does he feel about that? The little guy doesn't matter to this football franchise. And it's disappointing that they continue to put this mumbling, grumbling fool up there who doesn't care. He's checked out. He understands what's going on. But because the McCaskies and the Chicago Bears organization in and above itself are going to treat a fan base by continuing to throw out there a dead and lame coach, a lame duck, it's disgusting on every level. The sushi, the fucking the dumpster fire that is the Chicago Bears right now on every level. It's the arrogance. We talk about this, their media department, fuck them. It's disgusting. It really is. And I apologize for them to the listeners and the loyal fans of the Bears throughout the world. It's really disheartening. I've never felt so low as far as football, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I have my family here, my football family, that is, in Bears Barroom and the radio network, and these guys and all of you loyal barflies who have been spectacular to get through this. It's been therapeutic for you, but it's also been therapeutic for us. I can speak for myself to be able to bring such a sense of love and funny and affection for one another and the troubles, and really be the voice that no one else is giving you of straight up truth about the Chicago Bears. And I think Shane knocked it out of the park. I'm sorry that I had to do that, but that was just, I don't think people even realize how pathetic that was to you as a loyal, paying fan of this football team, rather, how that was. It was just awful.
I come from the communications background, so I know how important it is to have positive interaction with fans. And so when you send out material like that at a point when fans are suffering, it shows a disrespect for the fans. It shows a disrespect for the players, the organization. And if I was the team president, I would be talking to the communications folks over at Hallis Hall and telling them this is totally unacceptable. You guys have to do a better job of representing this organization when we're winning and when we're losing. And that was just really, really, really sad stuff. And I'm glad that Shane pointed that out.
Oh, yeah. This guy is so smart. When he ran a race, he didn't need a head start. He drops tweets. He drops rhymes. He's a fan of Brent Grimes.
I guess so.
The tweet of the week. This is his #1 tweet of the week. Deliver the mail.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Brett Grimes jersey right now.
I was trying to get Brett Grimes' wife in there, but
Miko, that crazy bitch.
I couldn't. Miko. I couldn't remember her name.
Here we'll get this out of the way for the best tweet of the week. It's on its surface, it's not Chicago Bears related, but I think it's important to get out there because it absolutely pertains to the Bears, and it kind of plays off my first dumb tweet that I read about Trubisky being a long, long ways away. Rich Hammond, at Rich_Hammond, talked to Saints defensive end Cam Jordan about Jared Goff, and he asked, what is the difference in Jared Goff? What has he improved on? And Cam Jordan said, what has he improved on? He's improved on absolutely everything. He's a totally different quarterback from last year to this year. It really is amazing to see. And while that's not directly about Mitch Trubisky or the Chicago Bears, it absolutely pertains to the situation that we are in right now and the situation that we are going to be facing here in the next couple of months moving forward with this franchise. Because this, guys, Ryan Pace isn't going anywhere. We've talked about it. You can not believe in him and say that he's got things to improve on, which is it's your right to not believe in him. And he's had his swings and misses like most GMs do, but Ryan Pace has to own it. He's had plenty of misses, and Ryan Pace absolutely has to get better. But once John Fox is gone and they go on and bring in whoever is next, it has to be all about Mitch Trubisky. I know old rabid Bears fans want this, restore the roar to the Monsters of the Midway of 1985, and it's not that, guys. It's a different time. This has to be all about Mitch Trubisky. It has to be about an offensive, quarterback-centric offensive staff that's brought in here to help pull this franchise out of the doldrums. And you want to see, just like Cam Jordan was referring to with Jared Goff, he gets Sean McVay. He gets their OC's name? Is it Matt LaFleur? And he's a guy that's probably going to be mentioned for the Bears. You get these forward-thinking, young, offensive-minded football coaches that are going to invest this 24/7, 365 philosophy into the offensive side of the football, and hopefully we see something from the Bears that we haven't seen since Aldo was first watching the Bears, way back in the day. We've never seen it. We'll see a little glimpse, but there's no consistency there. And in Philadelphia, you see the leaps that Carson Wentz made from year one to year two. And this is what Chicago Bears fans deserve this. And hopefully Ryan Pace sees the same type of thing moving forward.
We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I had to mute myself because I was getting a little amped up there and I was coughing. But yeah, it's sad, and it's not about the defense. It's not about the running game. This is all about Mitch Trubisky, guys. It really is, and it should be.
I'm with you, man. That was so well said. I feel like punching a wall right now. I really do. You fired me up.
It is.
That speech.
It's frustrating.
Yep.
He's right. It's an epidemic here in Chicago. You could point fingers all you want. You could blame Ted Phillips if that makes you feel good. And you could blame George McCaskey and Ginny McCaskey. You could blame anybody you want, but I say this all the time. It's about the head coach that ultimately feeds through the quarterback. That relationship, and Shane's right. And forward thinking, I always say maniacal. That means in every goddamn decision you're a part of, because it's your football team. And you live it, breathe it, and feel it, and you have a plan that involves, obviously, the most important position in professional sports, and that's the quarterback. And it's the most difficult one to play, and we know the talent's there. It's about untapping it. I think it's a great point that you pick that tweet, Shane, because real recognizes real. You know, here's your defender. You're all in the NFL, but you respect one another. Obviously, emotions happen in football. You've seen it in the last few weeks, fights and people getting thrown out. The passion that players have after and respect for one another. Jared Goff has far exceeded any expectation I have in watching him play. And really, it's about confidence, about coach putting him in the right places and simplifying things for everybody to get and obviously have a feel for major. I mean, if you watch Rams, they have a good running back. Everything the Bears have, the Rams have. What's the missing thing? It's the guy calling the plays. It's the coaching. And I really believe that, Shane. I hate and I will battle people saying Trubisky's a bust. He's just in the NFL right now. He can't make a Pro Bowl yet. He's got to, learn his way and actually have talent outside as well as an offensive coordinator. You can't, guys, barflies, fans of the show, you can't critique, but at the same time critique everything else. You follow what I'm saying? So you can't say this coach sucks, the guards suck, Kyle Long's not playing good, this guy sucks, the tackles suck, and they got no receivers, the tight, and you go through your laundry list and then expect, Mitchell sucks now too. No, that's the guy. It's a team game. He needs the talent surrounding him. And it really, when you turn on a hose outside, you start by spinning it. Someone's got to direct it. The offensive coordinator is spinning the hose the wrong way. He keeps tightening it and doesn't know why there's no water coming out. That's how stupid this guy's. And really, it really shows up every week. Dowell Loggins continues to amaze us with his stupidity.
You are so dumb. You are so dumb. Damn.
All right.
And the thing about it is, too, Phil, and real quick, Aldo, it's just the blueprint is there. And I know I bring up Philadelphia, but even with the Rams, too, it's really a carbon copy of each other. The John Fox is Jeff Fisher. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Jared Goff and Mitch Trubisky, Todd Gurley and Jordan Howard, and you can't tell me that there's this faction of fans out there, and I get it. We're pissed off because the fucking team isn't showing progress, and we're sick of losing. But just because you're losing doesn't mean that this team does not have talent. This team has legitimate talent. Do they need more? Yes, they do. But they also need, what's most important to this team is consistent coaching, just like Phil has been preaching forever, and he's absolutely right. That's where it starts. It starts up at the top. It's just, we all work hard at our jobs, and if you have a shitty boss, it sucks going to work. And if you hate going to work, then your job production sucks. And you get pissed off, and you come home, and your family life sucks because you have a bad attitude. That shit all filters down, and it's no different than in the NFL. These guys just happen to make a lot more money than we do, and that's really the only difference. And Ryan Pace just has to look to LA, look to Philly, and your blueprint is there. Just follow
Amen.
it.
Lord Jesus. Get the organs going. Let them keep talking, please. Now, can I get a witness?
Fucking sweating here. I'm firing myself up.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, Lord.
Oh my God!
Shane is bringing it now. Oh Lord.
Oh my God!
Can I get the organ sound? Please put it in post.
I will.
Rich Hammond, tweet of the week. There you go. Bears Barroom.
I feel good.
Now, Bears Girl needs a job, Aldo, because you, honestly, I love you. You've been tremendous on so many levels.
And for the past 3 years, you've been doing shitty, mediocre work. while getting a paycheck you didn't deserve.
I'm sorry.
You're fired.
But you fucking suck with the tweet of the week graphic. It never finds itself. Poor Shane's like, fucking, this dude, Buffon gets everything.
That is funny.
So, Bears girl.
The John Buffon Show.
It was a cold Sunday.
Buffon gets the NFL Films intro.
The John Buffon Show.
And I get Phil calling me a Brett Grimes fan in my intro.
It's a beautiful night.
All right. Hey, guys.
So, Bears girl, real quick.
Uh-huh.
We got another job for you. Taking the baton and
the pole.
Bringing the graphics. Yeah, take the pole for the strippers. Bring the tweet of the week graphics up.
All right. She complained the other day to me that we're ruining her dating life because we got her so busy doing graphics and all this stuff.
Do they have online dating in Canada, Al? I was wondering. Everybody's so nice. Did you see? It was Black Friday in Canada. They all single files walked nice, like a fucking parade. They were waving like the princess wave as they're going into the Best Buy. I'm like, I gotta move to Canada. We got some tremendous barflies in Canada.
We do.
And Black Friday polite.
Hey, I'd like to bring Kris in now. I know we still have to do Bear Up, Bear Down, but maybe we can have her on while we do that.
There you go.
I mean, we got a girl named Kris. I mean, wow, I just blown away by the blogging and everything she's bringing to the table here.
Is this her? Is this her, Kris?
I'm dialing her up right now. Okay.
Can I talk to her like
Kris
that?
Armstrong. Kris Armstrong, are you there?
I am here. How you doing, Oliver?
We're doing great. Good to have you on
There
the show.
she is.
Hey, Phil. How are you?
What's up,
There
Kris?
you go, Chrissy.
Hey. Hey, now.
Hey, now.
None of that. No,
Chrissy.
Come on. Oh, my God. And I know my voice is still a little rough, so bear with me.
You say bear with you?
Bear. You can dare with me if you want, Phil, but... You know, we're both married, man. Come on.
Are you wearing a Kyle Fuller jersey right now?
How did you know? Actually, I'm doing a Gorka, so I've got two shirts on. Or that's from Bannon, actually. It's a Bannon. You wear two shirts, so I've got my Kyle Fuller shirt over my Jay Cutler jersey.
You're teaching me all these clothing. A Gorka.
Wasn't he a fish? Was he a whale?
That's an orca.
Orca. That's an orca. He's not fat though. Yeah. So anyway.
Gorka.
So sadly, I guess Alicia won't be joining us. She's got a migraine.
Alicia, is that her name?
That's her name.
Little breaking news,
ladies and gentlemen.
Arlicia.
Can we get the breaking news drop, Aldo?
Can we get that drop, Aldo? Ladies and
It's on her
gentlemen.
Twitter profile, guys. Come on.
We interrupt this program for breaking news. AC has a migraine, and her name is Arlicia.
Is it,
There we go.
Oh, that's terrible breaking news music.
Yeah, that's
Where's Ted Baxter when we need him?
Really? Oh.
We interrupt the program. The Eagles have scored again.
Yeah.
John Fox is still on the tarmac.
So, Kris, you were sick. You've been sick for a few weeks now, right? Or a few?
Yes.
What
I'm feeling much better now.
Gee, I wonder why.
It's Bears flu. Right.
Exactly.
It's that goddamn Gorka. You got to put on a John Buffon hoodie. It'll keep you warm.
Has Aldo sent you the Buffon hoodie yet?
Buffon.
Oh, the Buffon hoodie. Oh, God.
Buffon.
Oh.
A certain magic will always linger with the very name.
Kris Armstrong writes for Bears Barroom, is joining the Bears 100 Proof podcast. Our first guest to be on the show, Aldo. Legitimately, you know?
I think so.
Invited on the show. What do I always say, Aldo? She's stepping up in the pocket and delivering.
And completing that pass for the first down. Kris, I got a question
Off
for you.
my front foot, not the back one.
There you go.
So, hey.
She knows how to do it. Kris, I got a question for you from Isaiah Robles. He wants to know who would you like to see the new coach to be, the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, because we know that's going to happen.
Yes, and Phil's going to be disappointed.
No,
it's
boy.
not
He
Jimmy
always is.
football. I've got to tell you, I mean, I went to Illinois, so I hate Michigan, so there's that. But I'm really kind of intrigued by Frank Reich. I mean, I loved him as a player. I like what he's doing now. But the real question is, who is he bringing with him? Who's his staff?
That, I think, is very, very important, because whoever the new coach is, and I'd like to see maybe a college coach come, but my big concern with bringing in a college coach, the head coach of the Chicago Bears, is can he get a really competent assistant coaching staff if he's been in the college game most of his career. That's a bit of a concern.
Absolutely, I agree.
He was in the Christmas song, Kris.
Yes,
You
I
know,
heard.
I gave him a nice vocal, what do we, I call it vocal
Like an homage,
acrobatic.
yeah.
So Haldo can drop that when she says
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. You could just drop the Frank Reich note, Aldo. I'm helping you again.
Oh my gosh, what would I do without you, Phil?
Yeah, if you could bring Frank Reich in here and get Philly's quarterback coach John DeFilippo to come with him as your OC,
as the OC.
that would be a good get. But I'm not sure. You know, if I'm DeFilippo, I'm not so sure I'm going to leave that situation in Philadelphia, because he's probably going to get promoted if Reich leaves to OC.
Yes.
And he's got that, you know, in his second year now with Carson Wentz there, and he kind of knows what he's doing. So I would be pretty skeptical that you could get that package deal. But my biggest fear with Frank Reich is he bringing the OC from Denver that just got fired, and former San Diego head coach Mike McCoy. And I know he was probably on my list back in the day too, but he's really kind of, I think, shown the NFL world really who he is. And I know they don't really have consistent quarterback play there in Denver, but he's really left a lot to be desired. And I'm not sure if Mike McCoy is the guy that I want around my young developing quarterback 24/7, 365. So I think he would be somebody that Frank Reich would look at, just given their history.
Can I chime in? Because I'm on the other side of that. I think Mike McCoy, in the right situation with a young, a Play-Doh sort of to mold and craft in a young quarterback like Trubisky, who has the kind of attributes, a Paxton Lynch, and what he's had to deal with, and a veteran quarterback with Phillip Rivers. Here's a guy that helped, obviously, John Fox get to the playoffs with Timmy Tebow at quarterback. I'm not ready to just kind of freeze frame on McCoy, because John Elway isn't the best person when it comes to patience and dealing with his roster. Look at how many quarterback changes they've had. Obviously, they've 6'6" and above doesn't work. We know that. So they have two of them on their roster. So I don't know. Frank Reich, to me, really obviously is on my list because of he checks off the boxes that I want. He's not going to be the most demonstrative guy, but he is a competitor. He is someone who's played the game of football, and he's their offensive coordinator right now. So I'm not going to really worry because he's an offensive mind that he can actually call the plays, if anything, because of his experience in that K-gun offense. I really believe that really fits what it was. Obviously, Marv Levy. And if you haven't gotten a chance to see the Jim Kelly story on NFL Network, they did a great job going behind the football with him and is telling his story. But really, Frank Reich was instrumental in the whole K-gun stuff, and obviously the miracles that they came back against the Oilers. So I'm really high on him too, Chris. Obviously, he checks all the boxes, and really, obviously, everyone knows I am true blue, not to Michigan, but to the Chicago Bears. And Jim Harbaugh, to me, coming from this storied franchise, recognizing the issues that really are there, and a guy that could say, you know what, F you and F you. If Pace isn't the guy, get him the fuck out. This guy I trust because he's a maniac. He's like me. I would not let any goddamn thing happen like what's transpired. Like, you think on my watch, or just any coach that gives a fuck's watch that players are the night before the game. This isn't the Super Bowl. This isn't the playoffs. This has happened before with arrogance. But coach being maniacal where you're a 3-win team, he's given up and he's allowing his players to play their game. And it isn't good. And you got to get someone in here that's focused in on that. And I believe, Reich is someone that should be there. Jimmy Harbaugh, obviously. Dave Tobe. McDaniels has to be in the conversation. I believe in second chances, Chris, and we could go back and forth on this. And I believe he's somebody that would take the ball despite Peter King's stupidity, which happens all the time with Trubisky. What did he say, Shane? He said that Trubisky wasn't somebody he'd be wanting to work with. He looked good.
Well, he also said John Fox has coached here for 2 years.
Yeah, he did. That's crazy. He was alluding to the fact, he said whoever Josh McDaniels is going to, he's not going to go to any team that doesn't already have a quarterback. And then that's when he brought up Mitch, and he goes, so when you're looking at a team like Chicago, is he really going to be interested in that situation when Mitch Trubisky has been very, very shaky, and he looked like Eli Manning did back in 2004 when I brought it up to you guys earlier, when he played against the Baltimore Ravens, and I happened to look up his stats that game, and he was 4 for 18 with 1 passing yard and 2 interceptions. So that's what he compared Mitch's play to Sunday versus Philadelphia. But like I said, Peter King, I think, has kind of mailed it in a little bit, and he's riding his wave off into the sunset, and he's letting guys like Albert Breer and people like that kind of take front and center for him. And he's
Andrew Benoit.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that dickhead. But yeah.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Mitch Trubisky is not going to prevent anybody from coming here. Mitch Trubisky is going to be a drawing card for people to come here and to get their hands on him. I mean, I'm not trashing Jay Cutler. Coaches wanted to work with Jay Cutler because he had all the tools in the world. I can fix him. That's part of coaching. And when you have an undeveloped talent that has really all the skill set that you want in a quarterback and is 23 years old, I think any coach worth their salt is going to want to come to Chicago just to be there with Mitch and be that guy that helps him take that next step.
Chris, it's hard to get a word in edgewise around here, right?
Huh? What?
Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Wow, we got a rough crowd in this bar.
Chris, you sound just like Samuel L. Jackson. That was
Motherfucker.
Kris, you want to comment on what the guys are saying?
Actually, I tend to agree, with what they're both saying. If I go back to that point that Phil was making about Frank Reich and the K-gun, I don't know how many people, and I haven't seen this really in print anywhere, but that is exactly it, Phil. We have got a young, athletic, mobile quarterback with the ability to learn. And if you can put Frank Reich in there, who has that K-gun experience and who can adapt that to fit, 20 years later, hello, profit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, that could be a great fit for Mitch.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you look at Frank Reich's track record in the NFL as a coach. He was in Indy. He was a wide receivers coach and then a quarterbacks coach, and he worked with Peyton Manning. He went to Arizona for a year, and then out to San Diego working with Phillip Rivers. And then from San Diego, he goes to Philly and is working with Carson Wentz. So he's got a pretty successful quarterback tree that he's been a part of, and who knows, maybe in a couple more months he can add Mitch Trubisky to that list.
Yeah, and again, for me, it's who is he bringing with him, and not just offensively. I mean, what sort of, does he have a defensive idea of what he wants to do? A lot of people have been talking about, well, we can't go back to a 4-3, well, which is a bunch of crap because we're playing 4-3 a lot. I mean, it's just it's a mindset, and what's he going to bring? I mean, is he going to bring a young hot coordinator up, a D coordinator, or is he going to look for maybe somebody more established? What's his philosophy on defense?
Yeah, it's a great point, and I think that's what you're going to see a lot of if they're going to go offensive oriented and quarterback centric as the head coach. They're going to be so involved in that side. You're almost going to need an assistant coach type that's just going to completely run the defense. And so they can focus.
Former head coach. Defensive.
Yes.
Yep. And to me, it's got to be. Vic Fangio is a fabulous coach, but to me, if they're going to make this switch, and you're going to be aggressive and forward thinking on offense, I think you have to be the same way on defense. You got to bring in a guy that's going to be aggressive, that's not going to run the picket fence on 3rd and 18 just so they don't give up a fluke touchdown and things like that. But it's a great point, Kris, that you got to – it's all going to depend on these guys. And I know that you seemed bummed about Josh McDaniels, but one little nugget that maybe not a whole lot of people know about is Josh McDaniels, his brother – is on the Bears staff right now. He's a quality control coach. On offense. So you can't tell me that he's not funneling some information to his brother that says, hey, this kid Trubisky is legit, or maybe it's negative info too. You don't want to get involved in the McCaskies and Ted Phillips, and so really either side of the coin could come into play there.
Right, and truly with McDaniels, for me, it's not so much that he's been a douche in the past. It's that he's a Belichick guy, and he has not had the ability to produce a viable head coach out of his tree. I mean, he just hasn't.
That's a good point.
Belichick is, in my opinion, the greatest coach ever. Who has he produced as a head coach that has led a franchise to winning seasons?
Nobody is as good a cheater as he is.
Well,
you're not. What is it?
If you ain't cheating, you're not trying.
There you go. Thank you, Kris.
Well done.
You stepped up for me. Look at this.
See, that's why Mike Glennon would be a great. I cannot believe that the Patriots did not trade for Mike Glennon. He's so damn tall. He could actually just go peer over fences and shrubbery and look at the other.
He could just be scouting.
Right, just kind of. You don't even need a blimp or a drone. You just send Mike to walk around and just kind of scan. Yeah.
I think he'd probably fuck that up too, though. To be honest with you,
he'd probably trip. But anyway, the knee pass.
Kris, we are going to do bear up, bear down. This guy
All
never
right.
stops laughing. We're going to do bear up and bear down, so this is an excellent opportunity for all of us to take a bathroom break because the theme song leading up to it is 2 minutes and 26 seconds long. So here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Barroom Radio. You can always turn it down.
A bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up.
This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shane Marsaw, the smartest man in the bar rooms, bear ups and bear downs of the week.
A bear up, a bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. They're watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost and won. They're playing the tape and grading. Bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. They're watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost or won. They're playing. The boys are grading. Cheeto blockies, I take them out like my girlfriend. Smack 'em, flip 'em, and stick 'em until you can't bend. Till then I'm still, I got height credential. Barflies, born out fraud, brothers like Nintendo. 5'7" kind of a small one, but I still store bums, key suckers in doldrums. As I'm singing and singing and changing my English, I quickness to get rich. I like chalk, but not chips. Connecticut in the house, but the barroom's where I live. I'll bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. I'll bear up, bear down.
This is another fulfilling, funkified track.
Yes, yes.
Hoping Shane was going to jump in and say functified.
Well, I was going to ask Chris, are you functified, Chris? You and your Gorkin or...
Oh, yeah, hey, the funk out my face. Functified. You know I'm a metal girl. Come on.
I'm going to give a metal song a shot sometime this year for Chris Aldo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Death metal.
Chris,
I was thinking more like some Hailstorm stuff, girl power. Girl power metal, yeah.
Chris, when we introduce
That
you,
works.
what theme song do you want me to play?
Oh, wow. I get a theme song?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll play a little background music when we introduce you.
Oh, something Amazonian. I'm pretty sure I'm the tallest person on this podcast.
How tall are you?
How
me,
tall
a
are
little
you?
over 6 foot.
Really?
Shane.
I'm 6'3", but yeah, I bruise like a peach, and I'm scared of tall girls, so I'm not even saying. Yeah, I'm 6'3". Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Big tight end running through the seam.
Yep, just not in Chicago. We throw to them in the flats.
Hook up at 6.
I'm going to have to go with Hailstorm's Mayhem.
There you go, Aldo. I've never heard of it before, so.
I love anything with mayhem.
A little mayhem never hurt anyone.
I'm so bored with this world that spins around me. Used to make me dizzy.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, very good. All right.
And guests on our show will leave with a parting prize.
Ooh, I love prizes.
No, every guest on our show is going to get a theme song, so those of you out there ready to come on our show,
That's right.
if you get invited,
Oh,
you should be so lucky, Chris.
The invite
well,
list.
apparently I am.
There you go.
All right, whose turn is it this week? Is it Draft Dr. Phil?
It's
I think?
Shane's
No,
turn.
Yes, it's
Shane's
me.
turn. You got a bear up player for us?
You know what? I'm making a stand this week.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not giving anybody my time for bear up after that debacle.
Wow.
I'm putting the whole organization, players, everybody on blast. And none of them are worth my time this week. Seriously, just watching back the game a couple of times, Aldo, and I think, Phil, you alluded to it a little bit before when we were talking. It's hard to find really, I mean, there's a couple little positives, but, I mean, I was even debating whether or not to give it to Cairo Santos because of his touchbacks when he was kicking the football. I mean, that's how bad it was. So my bear up this week is nobody. Fuck you, Chicago. Time for you guys to wake up.
That's wild.
Wake up.
That is a first in Bears Barroom history. Nobody getting a bear up. Let's see if Phil concurs or believes that somebody deserves this coveted award.
Well, I completely get what Shane's saying and what he's cooking, but I feel like a team led by an actual leader would rise to the occasion, and some of these players on defense and offense gave their heart out there. It's very easy to see when people aren't, but I look at number 38, I thought played his arse off out there and really was, giving his heart and soul to the football game. And Adrian Amos is going to get my bear up this week. He forced the turnover after blowing a coverage. He got fooled by a shoulder fake, isolated out, peeking at the quarterback, and came back, then forced the turnover. I thought he played physical in the alley. If he plays with that same swagger, there was a shot he put on Ertz on the play where Ertz is being covered by Sam Acho. I don't know the defensive design here. And Ertz obviously catches against the secondary. Amos comes up, shellacks him. He ends up fumbling the ball, but recovered it. But again, losing is a disease, I believe, and having a coach that recognizes that this is not in it for him and is going through the motions, it resonates through the locker room and the team. So I completely understand what Shane is saying, but looking at Amos, I thought if he was the guy I thought would deserve a bear up.
Okay, gotta watch his hammy injury too. See what they say tomorrow about it.
I forgot about that. That's that would be a big loss.
Listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd. Give it up for Adrian Amos. Sounds like a soccer crowd. Chris, you Chris, you approve of that choice, and do you have a player that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, I completely get where Shane is coming from, and I tend to agree with that. And, with Phil, I agree. I think Amos played hard. I think, Hicks was out there balling. He did. I mean, the man is a leader on that team. He went out there and balled. Mm-hmm. But I really got to go with Shane. I mean, fuck him. There's not one person on that team. That was just horrible. Forget him.
Were you surprised, Chris, that John Fox wasn't fired on Monday?
Yes. After the Green Bay game, from which I understand that ownership was pissed, and then for them to come out and lay this egg, I mean, they're bowling in the end zone. They're doing the electric slide. They're playing tic-tac-toe on the sidelines. We're the Chicago fucking Bears, the charter franchise of the NFL, and they're disrespecting us. I disrespect us. If I were an Eagles, I'd be like, screw those guys. They don't get any respect. They didn't earn it. So, hell yeah, I'd fire Fox. That's on him. Team is not prepared to play. They are not prepared. they're not prepared offensively, they're not prepared defensively, and this special teams is just a joke. So, fuck them.
You know, it's a great point. I told Phil about this. Philadelphia's up 24-0. They have a 4th and 6.
And they go for it.
And they're going for it. That right there, if that doesn't fire you, I mean, it fired me up as a fan watching it. I said I would.
Oh, I was pissed.
I'm putting that in my mental Rolodex, and when the Bears, get out of this shithole that they're in, I'm totally acting on that when we play Philly again. I'm not forgetting that. And I was waiting for the Bears to go out there and be a little bit inspired by that disrespect, and it just wasn't there. So I see you see where the mental state is. These guys, Greg Gabriel brought it up, and he said, this Bears team, you can just tell they're not buying in anymore. It's the ship has sailed. Akeem Hicks after the game said, we totally believe in John Fox, and I think it was AC that actually brought it up and said that means something, and I do disagree with her. I don't think that means anything.
Yeah,
no.
Akeem Hicks got paid. He got paid big, and there's 5 games left, or wherever we're at this point. And what else is he supposed to say? He can't come out publicly and trash the head coach. It's not like he was coming out and saying, throwing Mike Glennon out in front of everybody after that Green Bay debacle and saying,
get out the way. Get out the way. Move, bitch.
It's not the same type of scenario. So,
and I agree with that, Shane. From what I understand, I mean, they probably like Fox. He's known as a coach's, a player's coach.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they appreciate him, but do they believe in what he's selling? We're 3 and whatever we are. I mean, we suck. Who's buying that shit?
And I think it makes a difference too. I think if you ask Akeem Hicks about John Fox, you're going to get that, and he probably believes it. John Fox is a defensive guy. Go ask Mitch Trubisky the same question. You can give him some truth serum. He's not saying that shit. You can see it in that kid.
Need truth serum, Shane, because he said the other day that he and Logan's or whatever the fuck his name is, they're only doing what John Fox is letting them do.
Yeah.
No, that's the truth. I mean, I'm surprised Phil didn't come through Twitter. Hey, the kid's telling the truth here. I mean, because he was probably unintentionally.
And the thing is, the truth, honestly, we all know as you're speaking it. You're talking about 4th down conversions. How many times did they go on 4th down? 5? They fucking shifted the back one time and left an empty set, and they still got the quarterback sneak. They just said, you guys aren't playing, just as Kris said eloquently. You're not stopping us today. We're embarrassing you. You're a bunch of fucking nobodies. And that's how they handled you. And it was embarrassing. I went to work on Monday, and people got to see this team, and they come in. Wow, the Eagles are awesome. Eagles fucking buried the Bears, embarrassed them. You guys are awful. People that don't even know football are saying that. It was so obvious to the blind eye. And that's terrible. And it should have brought about a firing. We talked about it after the Packers game, as Kris alluded to. It needed to happen. The fact that you haven't done it before doesn't make it right. In fact, you probably would inspire players and put people on notice if you gave an opportunity to Vic Fangio and really clean up the locker room and teach rookies who are learning, by the way, that it's okay to go out at night and go to a strip club. It's okay to fuck up on 3rd and 6 and false start and now make it 3rd and 11 and ask your young quarterback to complete their 40-yard out route. I mean, that's how the statistic scouts are going to, what's the box score say? Mitch sucks. It doesn't look at personnel, situations, all of it. And PFF isn't giving you that shit either. So it's unfortunate because he ultimately is suffering for ownership thinking historically or whatever their thought process is that we don't do this. Well, let's start doing things like George Costanza. Let's do the opposite of what you normally do because it ain't working.
Right.
And it hasn't worked. He's won 3 division games. 3.
One a year.
One every year we celebrate.
Well, I think concern too here, and although I know that you've touched on this a little bit, but they're losing their fan base. I mean, I'm gonna watch. I am gonna watch the game. I'm not gonna enjoy watching the game, but I will watch it. But the next home game, how many no-shows are there going to be? I went on SeatGeek or StubHub or one of those. I found seats in the United Club section 208.
208, y'all.
$165 a piece in the United Club.
Yeah,
wow. I mean, crazy. These are on the 40-yard line.
Aldo, where are your seats Sunday?
I'm on the 40-yard line, like the 200.
Do you still have? Yeah, well, really?
Yeah, I got really good seats for Sunday's game.
Nice.
Do you think you'll remember to bring your camera this time?
Well, I brought my camera last time. It was just raining so much. I just never pulled it out. I was freezing and raining.
That's what she said.
I knew a guy like that once.
Chris, before you got on here, we were playing a little game called Just the Tip, so you'll have to listen to the beginning of the pod. Oh, it's like she must know what I'm talking about.
She is
Chris.
blushing laugh.
No,
There
I'm
was
really
a blushing laugh.
But, somebody was on the score talking about just exactly what Chris was alluding to, the fans not showing up. And their prediction for the Christmas Eve Cleveland-Chicago game, their prediction was 25,000 no-shows for that game.
Play.
I'm actually thinking of going to that, actually.
Yeah.
Let's do the the Soldier Field. Let's guess, the 4 of us, whoever gets the closest. I'm going to say Christmas Eve, 18,787 fans are going to be there.
I think 25,000 is just them trying to, make a point. That's a lot. 25,000 no-shows. I'm going to
play the game. Play the fucking game.
Are we talking no-shows, or are we talking?
I'm talking about people.
Or are we talking no-shows?
How do they announce it?
Talking no-shows. They'll announce attendance, and then I think they just go do the no-shows off of that. So
we're gonna go no-shows. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say Christmas Eve versus Cleveland. I'm going to say 10,032 no-shows. It's going to be a high number. I don't think they're going to approach 25 G's.
Aldo?
Are we doing it like The Price is Right, where if you go
yes,
over? Okay.
Yes.
So I will say 5,000 no-shows.
Whoa.
Okay.
Damn.
They had more than that for Detroit, didn't they?
I'm going to say 17,687 no-shows.
All right. I'm going to go with 23,034 no-shows.
I like those numbers.
That's a lot.
23 and 34? Pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kris Armstrong, come on down to play Just the Tip on Bears Barroom.
Hey, as long as it's not a burnt tip.
No.
Have you met Aldo? I'm sorry, Aldo.
That's okay.
Yeah. Aldo has shoved a lot of shit in, so.
All right, listen to this.
Bear up, bear down, trap Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. They're watching the tape and weighing.
All right, it's time for our Bear It Down player. Shane, you got a lot to pick from. We're on the edge of our seats wondering who it's going to be.
Tweeted tweeted this out during the game, and I know a lot of people will probably look at it as a little bit of a cop-out, but the guy's driving me crazy, and it seems like he'll go through a batch and have maybe 4 or 5 consistent to good games, and then he goes right back. Pat O'Donnell. It gets back to
mega punts.
Yeah, mega punt, exactly. Because he hit the scoreboard in a controlled environment at the Walter Payton Center. Where are those mega punts on the field? And it drives it. He is. I would love to. I got to get a stopwatch, and I want to see what his release is. Getting the punt. It's got to be the slowest in the NFL. It's infuriating to watch, and it's just. The one time that it worked is when he had against Baltimore, when he had to pass to Benny Cunningham, because he was just so nonchalant about it. They fell for it, and Cunningham was wide open for the touchdown. But he's so wildly inconsistent. I mean, even sometimes when he strikes the ball good, like he had a punt the other day that went 32 yards or 27 yards, something like that. It's completely unacceptable, and it's a red mark on Ryan Pace, because the special teams with the kicking situation and the punting situation, there hasn't been the competition there for these guys. And Pat O'Donnell is not good enough to have no competition, and he should be on blast. I sent out the tweet that he should have left when Connor Barth left. I mean, I know he was a draft pick. We drafted a fucking punter in the 6th round. Thank you, Phil Emery. But it's infuriating to watch, and hopefully I'm not ruining Phil's guy. But to get back to special teams, this week it was between Pat O'Donnell and Tariq Cohen back there returning kicks. I'm fed up with that too. So that's my bear down B. So hopefully I didn't take your guy, Phil. I'm sorry if I did, but Pat O'Donnell, my bear down of the week.
You think that Pat was at the strip club on Saturday night getting some lap dances?
Yeah, he seems like a classic metrosexual. So I don't know if that's his thing that he likes, but. We'll see if the Chicago media finds out who was there. I know they're implying that Jordan Howard was one of them, but
not my boy, please.
I have my thoughts that old number 39 was involved, because I've heard a little stories behind the scenes on Eddie, and I don't want to throw that out there. And if he wasn't there, but
you just did.
what a friggin' disappointment. That it happens with any of the players, like Phil said. It's just it goes back to what we've all said. They've mailed it in, and they don't give a fuck. So that's why nobody got my bear up. They don't give a fuck. I don't know why I should, but I'm a glutton for punishment. And Kris alluded to it, and I'm going to tune in too. I've watched the Bears for forever, and if they're getting beat 38-0, I'm that asshole that's still sitting there watching every snap, no matter what. But.
Me too, bro.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Old friend.
Yeah.
I've come to talk with you again.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey.
Every Sunday, 1:00 Eastern, the Chicago.
Welcome, darkness, into my living room. Hey, Kris, do you think that Trey McBride maybe was at that strip show on Saturday night? Given that he was
considering, is he our leading receiver?
Well,
right. He had 90 some. He almost had 100 yards against New Orleans.
That's right.
Yep, 92.
And they benched him.
And then now he's gone.
And now he's gone.
I think he was a bad boy somewhere, and he got the call.
It does seem that way. All right, Philski, who do you have as your bear down player?
Well, mine. It's really a struggle for me, because I look at this team and there's so many to pick from.
I was going to say, struggle. Fuck, I could have 20 of them.
But I come down, no, because I go to the tippity top of where my frustrations are with Bobby Massey jumping off sides, the fullback who's the worst football player, I believe, on the roster or any roster on offense in the NFL. Don't understand. There's so many to go on, and I wanted to take my digs. You know, Shane alluded to that was the rookie Action Jackson and all the nicknames, his worst outing I'd ever seen. But I'm going to forgive him, and I'm going to go back to one play that stands out to me that I would have absolutely lost my mind.
I know where he's going.
I have zero tolerance for ball in air, lack of effort. And especially when the game is on the line and the game is out of hand and you need to make a play for a young quarterback and build their confidence, you know better. Just to watch Daniel Brown's effort on that hot read where the tight end's wide open, he puts one hand out there as if he couldn't have put two.
Yeah.
He's jogging and trotting. I would have gotten fired. Like, I was infuriated with that effort. That, to me, is the showcase of what they're saying to their coach. I can give two fucks about you, this offense, nothing. Not even the idea that you could lose your job, like a Trey McBride lost his job today. It didn't matter to him and this team. It doesn't matter. And the important thing is the coach to make it matter. Make it matter. That nobody's bigger than the effort on the football field. And Daniel Brown is completely, with so many players playing shitty, you could have been something better. And you need to learn from this. You are my bear down this week. Tight end, Dan.
Kris, you got a thought on Mr. Brown?
Yeah, he sucked.
See, maybe.
And I agree with Phil. The lack of effort really is damning, and not just sucking, but not even giving the effort is horrible. Hard to pick a bear down, though. I mean, it's a target-rich environment there. So
yeah, you ain't kidding.
The offensive line as a whole is very disappointing to me. I know that Philly has a great, front seven, but my God, 6 yards. 6 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They rushed for 6 yards in 60 minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, sorry.
Not even. So yeah, for me, my bear down is the line. Their effort was awful. It was just bad, and got worse when Sitton went out. So
yeah, and surprise, our quarterback had his worst game, and his mechanics failed him. It all correlates. It goes together.
Yes, and he was almost my bear down because I will tell you what, this is the first game I've seen Mitchell Trubisky and that the game looked too big for him.
Ooh, okay.
Confidence. You could just, he just kind of wilted.
Yeah, I think his confidence has been waning the last couple of weeks, and I think it's pretty noticeable. But I think you get to a point. We've all seen his reactions in these post games, even going all the way back to Baltimore. I mean, that was a huge road win for any rookie quarterback. That it just doesn't happen in Baltimore. Well, he did it, and he stepped up and made a big pass on 3rd and 13 that helped lead the Bears to a win there. But in the post-game presser, Mitch was like he lost the Super Bowl, and I think it's got to be disheartening to know that you finally, you've reached the pinnacle, what you've dreamed about every single night as a little boy that plays football, and you get there and you're like, really? I'm the quarterback of the founding franchise in the NFL, and this is the coaching staff that they're giving me. These are I mean, he's never going to throw his teammates under the bus, but he's throwing to like some CFL talent at wide receiver at points. It's sad, and I think honestly, it's kind of expected that his confidence is going to go down. I mean, I know mine would under the circumstances. So I agree. I think you're seeing a little bit of that confidence issue slip into Mitch's game right now.
Yeah, and again, that's why you have got to fire Fox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if you make Loggins the interim head coach. I don't care. Make the water boy the head coach. Get rid of Fox. Do not ruin this kid. And that's what they're doing.
And Kris, you wrote in your column, this is not just on Fox or Loggins or Fangio. This is also now on Ryan Pace. It's on Pace for two reasons. Number one, a horrible free agency period this past offseason, and mostly his decision not to fire Fox. You want to expound on that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. The free agency period, he has been so hit and miss with that, but wow, this year was just bad. $18 million to a certain, continental tall mammal, to Mr. Glennon, is kind of strolling through. How much did they give Marcus Wheaton? Quite a bit, guaranteed.
Yeah.
They gave
$6 million.
$6 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Marcus Cooper, just not some very good decisions. So that was really disheartening. The draft was great, I thought, but bad free agency. And again, I'm sure Ryan Pace wants to fire John Fox. Is it Ted Phillips that's telling him no, count the beans? Is it George McCaskey saying, no, we don't do that? Or is it really Ryan Pace saying, no, I'm going to stick with Fox because I don't have another alternative? He's got to man up. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's got to man up.
Yeah, we talked about that on Bears Hour Live, that if he really wants to get rid of Fox and ownership is telling him no, then we hope that at the very least that he is kicking some chairs and making some noise and letting them know.
That was a good show, guys. That was really good. I had a chance to listen today. That was really good stuff.
Well, Phil is always bringing it, and Shane, he brings it, for the last 10 minutes of the show, but he brings it when he gets on.
Hey, it's how you finish.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's what she said.
Hey!
I did, yeah. I'll go get my husband. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. So
but yeah, really disappointed with Pace and the way he's behaved this year.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I got two.
Oh yeah, Aldo.
I knew it was coming. I knew Shane was coming. I just don't know where Hila is.
She's waiting for me upstairs.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening, and Kris, thanks for hanging out with us. We got to do this more often.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, this is really cool. I really enjoyed you having me on.
Kris.
Kris, full of knowledge. We love the barroom banter.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice having a lady in here that can tell everybody to fuck off. And I'm going to put my Gorkin on and fuck everybody.
Who are you calling
that? It's nice having an Amazon Sasquatch in here, or whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah, I'm more of a broad.
She's a broad. We love broads.
Are you a biker, broad?
It's possible that I have, in fact, a couple of Harley Davidsons in my garage. Yes.
Well,
how many?
When I hear mayhem.
You have two. How many tattoos?
2.
Nice.
Oh.
Let me ask this question then, Kris. You ever gone to a bar and beaten the shit out of some guy?
I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Last week.
My attorney.
Oh, I want to have beer and drinks with Kris and her husband. That's going to be a blast.
And believe me, he drinks that same swill that you do, so you guys would get along just fine.
Are you taller than your husband, Kris?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a rule. No.
Oh, that's right.
Dude.
Yeah,
you and Alicia were talking about that, weren't you?
Yeah. No, Bruce is 6'3", so. Yeah.
There you go. He's the same height as Shane. There's a chance, Shane.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
I told you.
There's a chance you can get your ass kicked.
Something tells me Kris could choke me with her Armasol or whatever the fuck it's called. Camisol. Camel toe, whatever the hell she was referring to today.
Yeah, and I'm probably a little too old for you, Shane, so sorry, man.
What is it against the barroom policy to ask how old you are, Kris?
No, there's a 5 in it.
Oh, I'm 40. I'm 41. Phil's old as shit. Aldo's 74.
73.
Year-old age.
73.
Aldo's looking great for his age.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Maker's Mark really works.
It does. It does wonders.
Yeah, I'm more of a single barrel jack kind of girl. So.
There you go.
Are you from Illinois? Is that where you were born and raised?
Yep, my family's been here for a couple hundred years. Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
The
But
accent.
I got a sister in Connecticut, and my brother-in-law knows who your dad is.
Look at this! Shout out to the brother-in-law and the sister.
He's like, oh, Coach Toshin, he's like kind of famous. I'm like, yeah, I think he kind of is.
Kris. Don't make Phil's head any bigger, okay?
No, not Phil.
No, my dad.
No, I know, but it's still Dad. Nobody knows who you or your dad is, Phil. Jesus Christ.
All right, well, my brother-in-law does.
Thank you, Kris. That
Go
was very
Torrington.
nice. There you go. T-Town.
Yes, indeed.
Look at this, Aldo. Small world
It is a small world. It is.
to a big pod, a worldwide pod.
All the way over to Japan. Aberdeen, Japan. Sandy Tom.
Did they drop the bomb there?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yeah.
All right, I usually sign off the show by saying, please, if you drink, do not drive, and always bear down.
Bear down.
Thanks
Fuck
a
you,
lot,
Pat
guys.
O'Donnell.
It's been a blast.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, good job, Kris.
Kris bringing it.
All right. And I get to
Bringing
say the
the
F word. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's what we love about this show. You just be you.
Yeah.
It's the fucking Bears 100 proof. We're going to change the title.
That's right. Nothing better. You can say the F word. I'm not wearing pants. Fucking perfect night.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Look at
about
you,
that.
Shane.
That's right.
Do you wear boxers or briefs, Shane?
Free baller. I'm a free baller.
Because he's
knew
free.
Easy access, dude. This is all about
you.
It's good for the baby batter. You got to keep it at room temp. You don't want to keep that stuff all crunched up.
All you young males out there trying to get your girlfriend or your wife pregnant.
I got to be ready at a moment's notice.
He's on call.
How does that work?
Like an EMT.
Yeah, right. So how does that work? She just says, hey, I'm ready, and then you just got to swing into action?
Yeah, that's why I get home, my pants are off. I might be downstairs in the man cave. She'll send me a text, and I'm Forrest Gumping it upstairs.
Honey, I'm ovulating. Come upstairs.
Yeah.
A baby batter.
Yeah. So I know my place. I grew up in a house full of women. I just, whatever they say, go ahead and make it happen. I bring the magic. She won the man lottery. She knows it.
Oh my goodness.
Aldo, we got to end the show. We got to give our shout outs, and then we got to play our Christmas jam.
I thought we played that in the middle of the show.
Oh, we did play it. I'm sorry.
Yes, Chris.
We did play it. I forgot. You got to edit.
To Lady Loves the Bears.
Yes.
She was not able to join us tonight, and I thought we were going to tag team you yahoos.
Oh, my, sounds like Aldo's dream has come true.
Every night.
Couples retreat.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up AC. We do have to give her a shout out. Ever since Alabama kicked the shit out of Mississippi State, she's been under the weather. So I hope she feels better. Sorry, AC.
I think she's upset with her quarterback's leg, like, rearranged itself.
Yeah.
That
was bad.
very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
So she's been under the weather since seeing that.
Kris, who else do you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Kris.
Wow, I swear you, Aldo, have got some very interesting followers who I've become recently aware of. My goodness. But really, the person who I've come to love me some Trey Busy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my, you took my guy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but he does a great job with his column on the Barroom, and he's a great Twitter follow. So shout out to the dude.
He called out the Bears blog for not getting him enough pussy.
Can we read that tweet, Shane? We need a repeat of that tweet. That, to me, just typifies a sergeant in the Barfly Army. Alec, I fucking love you, dude. He just brings it to the Bears Barroom. Excellent writing, great support, and you gotta use your voice wherever it is. Social media, make your movies, send them into Aldo. We love you guys. We do this for you. We do. We really do.
That's right.
And
we gotta let these fans know that we are not charging for these shout outs.
No charge here.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm not getting paid.
Well, yeah, you are.
You are.
You're getting a free Christmas CD.
No. Kris, Aldo will give you your tip after the show.
Yeah. Stay away from Phil.
Rocking around the Christmas tree with Aldo and his tip.
That's song number 23.
That's the hidden track.
Yeah. Play that one backwards.
Never mind.
Don't ruin any songs.
My other shout out this week would be to Air Jer, who is the uncle of an Indiana state champion.
Oh,
look at that!
Right, yeah.
Shouting them, awesome? stealing our shout outs. Thanks, Kris.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on the show.
Wyatt Kramer, number 74, state champ.
Way to go!
Yeah, that was awesome to follow.
Good job, young man. Keep your head up, get low, fire out. I'm sure he was ready.
Yeah, we'll put him in for Massey.
Oh God, that would be great.
Do a better job. I gotta send some shout outs.
Go for it, Phil.
You guys have been tremendous with the upcoming Christmas LP, Bears Barroom, and the boys and the crew. And fans have responded. I want to shout out the people that DM'd and really went the extra mile to let the fandom know that this exists. Waddle and Sylvie put us to a challenge. We step up in the pocket, we deliver. So I want to shout out Dusty. I want to shout out Wolf, who also did a great job. Brandon. Aldo read his writing. Tremendous job. This is a kid that you should follow at, let me get his, at what. It's taking a little, what Wolf. Just what's Wolf, at what's Wolf. Brandon with the Barroom, really doing a great job. Chris Bowditch. I always mess up his name. Chris Bowditch across the pond over there. Excellent. Beat Diddy. Obviously. Can we say enough about Nick Kurtz?
That's my man.
Great, tremendous kid. Love him. He's helping out. We have taken him on, guys. We're announcing this now. We're bringing Nick onto the roster sheet of Bears Barroom. We will announce what role he'll have, but he Obviously, this is a family. We talk about it all the time. There's so many of you out there. Mark from Dubai, Lee Pendervis, Nelson E. Daniels. I just love this kid. He just brings passion, not afraid to speak the truth. Point out things that he hears in the show. Make a video. He's going to go down to the game with a Firefox sign. Those things we got to talk about, Aldo. Zeke, Robles, Nacho Gonzalez, Bear Soldier, Jeff Fell, Willie J. Vibe, obviously Jeremy Kramer, Momo the Bear, over in Kuwait, Zach Zekel, you got Calvin Wang, Sandy Tom, fucking tremendous guy, tremendous follow, Eddie G, Big Papa Don, Scar. How can you not love Scar? You talk about people that step up, put their faces to a tackle. Scar will run through a wall for the Barroom. That's the kind of people I love and talk about. Chicago Bears, AFR. Love that goo. Trace Mahoney. How about Zim? My cousin Zim.
Hey,
Zimmerman. What's her first name?
Heidi.
Heidi. I call her Zim Dog. She's going to get a new nickname from me every week. My cousin, Zim Dog, Zimmy. But those are my peeps this week. George T. Ray, we freaking love you guys. We do this for you. Those of you listening all the way to the end of the show get little nuggets and golden nuggets of wisdom with Kris Armstrong on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, and we can't forget Bears Girl. She would be my other shout out, along with
she knew
my favorite New Mexico, James. Hey, Wymagota out there. He's a great guy to follow. So, and I know he follows the Barroom. So
there you go.
Yeah, I understand.
Aldo, we got some news, right?
Yeah. What is the news?
You got an assignment from Bears Girl because she's working dilegently on a announcement. No?
You're talking about the contest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we doing that? Or are we doing that on another show?
No, we're gonna do that after we all talk. All right, I gotta tell the audience.
I won the Price is Right, for God's sake.
That's right.
Yeah. Price is wrong, bitch.
Right. Okay. let me tell the audience what we're doing. We're ordering up some CDs of the Bears Barroom Christmas songs that Draft Dr. Phil is writing, producing, and performing. And so we are going to give some of those CDs away to our barflies. The thing is that we still haven't finalized how we're going to do that. We've got some contest ideas. We've got some creative ideas that we're still bouncing around, but we just haven't put the bow on it yet. We will in the next 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll be sending all sorts of creative out there on social media to let you guys know. And we know that you guys are just going to jump into doing whatever because it'll make a great Christmas present. In fact, on Twitter today, people were listening to the first song that was released and just saying, you know, I'm going to be playing this. When my wife says to put some Christmas music on, I'm going to be playing this. And so we've been getting all sorts of really awesome feedback on just the first song that Phil has released, and so we're sure that you guys are going to do whatever possible to get your hands on this CD that's going to have at least 22 tracks and probably a couple of bonus ones as well. So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I apologize. I totally thought.
Don't apologize.
Crowbar that in there, Phil, you fucking kid.
I honestly thought that she was working on that. I didn't want to forget.
Well, she has worked on it.
Worker that
she has. I also know that from your wife that you regularly are a premature ejaculator. So so it's only apropos that
sound drop?
That's right. Oh, wait a minute.
My wife made her debut.
Yeah, hold on a second. I didn't play that during the show. Wait a minute. Where is it?
She's going to miss this.
Apparently, she misses quite a few things.
Kris has fit right in.
All right, listen to this. This is
Like I
awesome.
said.
You're listening to the barkeep, the smartest man in the room, and my hubby, Draft Dr. Phil.
Yeah, baby. She's
Yeah,
good.
Oh, let's do
Yeah.
it.
She's got you beat. Oh, Kris, she's 6'4".
That would make her 6 feet taller than Phil, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Carried
Way to
14
marry
pounds
up,
of
Phil.
baby.
Really?
Did. Yeah. Tate was 6'11", and Tate was 6'11", and Devin was 7 pounds 1 ounce. So 14 pounds of baby in there.
Little human beings being carried around in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Scary thought. Let's stop talking about this. All
Yeah, really.
All right,
Just
everybody.
sound like you guys
Just
are
the
carrying
tip.
them. Give me a break.
Just the tip, Al.
That's right. We have the hard part. That 4 minute commitment. Yeah.
That's a good way to end the show. Kris, thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Kris.
guys.
That was fun.
Thanks, Kris. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad
Y'all
you
on
came
Twitter.
on. All right, y'all.